This is Anything But Footy. I'm Michael.
We're in the centre of Birmingham. The Minister for Sport, Nigel, Huddleston, is here. 2 years to go to the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games. Will the city be ready? Will it be ready to stage a great games?
Absolutely. I'm very confident, that we'll have a fantastic games. 2 years to go. The excitement's already building. And, great opportunity to celebrate Birmingham, the West Midlands and indeed the UK. And after the challenges we've all had for the last few months, I think we all need something to look forward to. And this is absolutely something to look forward to.
How challenging has those last few months been, certainly in the arena of sport and live sport?
Yeah, very challenging. Effectively, for the first few months that I was sports minister, there was no sport. And of course, then getting behind closed door elite sport going, and now grassroots going. And now, of course, we've started the pilots for stadium as well, and hopefully get them back from 1st of October to the public. So we're making baby steps. If you think back just a few weeks ago, it wasn't absolutely clear that we'd have any sport at all in the UK this year. Well, we've already made great progress. We've got to take baby steps. We've got to make sure everything's done safely, but we're progressing, and I think everybody's very relieved that we're starting to get sport back.
I know we're 2 years away, but we don't know what will happen with COVID. Is there a plan B for either a scaled back Commonwealth Games, a Commonwealth Games behind closed doors perhaps?
Well, nobody wants to really think about that at the moment because, we do have 2 years to go. But of course, we constantly review everything. We've got a budget that's pretty healthy with a decent contingency plan. I have to say, everybody's pulled out all the stops in terms of construction and everything. If you look at the progress at Sandwell, for example, it's amazing how they've come on even since February when I was last there. So, there's great progress being made, and I'm pretty impressed. Everybody's trying to work as hard as they can at every level, and I'm really impressed with that.
Diversity is sharply in focus. Dame Louise Martin has stepped down.
Yeah.
How big an error was it not to have a more diverse board at Birmingham 2022 in such a diverse city and community?
Well, I think it really is important. It's one of my goals as sports minister to enhance greater diversity in sport at all levels, with a particular focus on the BAME community. And I think we will see more changes, both in the Commonwealth Games and in other sports as time goes on. We really need to develop a real pipeline of talented people available to take executive positions. And actually, I'm working with Sport England on that. And actually, I think we will see further changes. Dame Louise will still contribute very, very much to the Commonwealth Games. She's still on the strategic board, which I chair. But we do have other opportunities to enhance diversification in the next few months, and hopefully we'll do so.
It's not just the Commonwealth Games, as you said, it's the other international federations. Is it top of your in-tray at the moment?
Well, lots of things are competing for your top of the in-tray, but it's a really important goal for me, actually. It's really important. When I first became sports minister, I said one of the goals I had is to increase diversity, particularly in sports governance and senior levels and managerial levels. We've made good progress with, for example, gender balance. And actually, that was a strategic goal, of course, of government and Sport England. And we set targets and said, let's increase the gender diversity. Done pretty well on that. But there's other areas of diversity that we're woefully far behind, and we need to make progress. And it's definitely one of my top priorities.
Government backs big events like this. It backed London 2012, Glasgow in 2014. The UEFA European Women's Football is coming in the same summer
Absolutely.
As the Commonwealth Games. How important are events like this for this region, for this country, which has been so divisive over maybe a year or so?
There's several benefits to this. Obviously, there's the coming together and the unification that sport can bring generally, and it really can unite the country, indeed the world. Actually, there's great unifying power in sport. But there's also, the hard, cold cash economic contribution that such events bring. We saw in both Gold Coast and in Glasgow, great economic contribution coming up for £1 billion with Glasgow over that in Gold Coast, and we're hoping that there'll be a big economic benefit as well for Birmingham. There is already, there's contracts worth hundreds of millions of pounds already up for grabs, and of course there'll be a strong legacy as well. We've got strong construction, so there'll be very, very many benefits from the Commonwealth Games.
And just finally, as you said, that coming together, as I mentioned, it's been quite a divisive time in the nation. Is this an opportunity to bring people together again?
It absolutely is. I think we've had a difficult time in politics with coronavirus in the country as a whole. As I said, there's great unifying power in sport. Major events like this do bring people together. It's really important that we take full advantage of them. And I say already you can see the excitement building. We've got these great new sports, actually, particularly attractive to young people that we can celebrate. They'll build excitement. I'm already excited about these games, and the excitement will only build over the next 2 years.
Nice to chat to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
And download our weekly Anything But Footy podcast for all the latest Olympic and Paralympic news, interviews and conversations. We're on Apple and Google Podcasts. Just search Anything But Footy.